Richard Faulkner is on the line now from Rentokil, and he might be able to give me some advice or help. How are you, Richard?
Hi, good morning, Emma. How are you?
Well, you know what, Richard? Flies are driving myself and all the ladies in the newsroom batty. Not in here, thankfully, but when we go home, you open the patio door for 10 seconds and the flies are in. What's going on?
It's the lovely weather we're having all of a sudden. Again, climate's a lot milder. It's getting a lot warmer. So our insects are doing what they do. They're breeding, they're feeding, and they're increasing their numbers. So that's what's happening.
Right. So when I turned around, there was one, and then all of a sudden there was 4 or 5. They are everywhere. But you're probably getting a lot of calls due to weather. So people are having issues. We find listeners telling us about wasps as well. They're very difficult to get rid of, really, when you get them into when they get into cracks of walls and get in under buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's that sort of season. Ants, very prevalent. Wasps, very prevalent at the moment. We've got the girls have got like a playhouse sheddy thing next to my shed, and I've taken 3 small wasp nests out of their playhouse already this year.
Oh no, and that's lethal.
Just 21, just because. Yeah, if it was in mine, I wouldn't be overly that bothered. But the fact that they go and they play in there, not good from that point of view. But the thing is, a lot of insects like wasps, is they're quite beneficial at the start of the year because they're sort of natural gardeners. They take away pest species and they're protein feeders. It's just as the year progresses and the weather gets warmer, the colony gets bigger, and then it starts to wind down and they've got less and less to do. And then we start to get fruit. And then when the fruit falls, it starts to ferment and they basically sort of get drunk and then become more of a nuisance. And that's when they terrorise us because we're outside at the same time.
Okay. Interesting insight into the life of a wasp there. What's the most common complaint you're getting at the moment? I know Rentokil issued a statement on annoying seagulls for our friends who live by the sea.
Yeah. At the moment, there's a lot of bird activities up, rodent activities up. Basically, because we've had 4 very, very mild years, our winter periods are warmer than they usually are. We're not getting long periods of frost or snow or anything like that anymore, really. And it's just milder. Our climate's a lot milder. It's a lot warmer than it used to be. So everything is doing better. Plants are doing better. There's better yield of fruit and seeds and grasses and stuff like that. That increases rodent behaviour, increases bird behaviour, and increases ultimately insect behaviour as well.
Okay, there's I'm sure you're often probably tagged in kind of social media videos of pests, and you've probably seen it all at this stage firsthand in your line of work. But there's a page called New Ross on Facebook. If spiders give you the heebie-jeebies, I'd say to our listeners, don't look it up. But this spider is so big, he actually grabs what looks like a rat by the tail and kind of drags him for a second or two.
It's got to be somewhere out of this country unless it's somebody's pet's escaped. Like our biggest spider we have is the giant house spider. You'll see them sort of around autumn. They come in the house and they run about, and they're just in looking for mates. But we don't have anything that can take out a rodent.
Okay, or a mouse even.
That will be more than likely somebody's sort of pet tarantula or something like that that's escaped, or somebody's brought in a huntsman even.
All right, they do that now, I'd say, for the Facebook hits.
Yeah,
bit of fake news there.
We don't have anything quite that bad. We're not to Australia levels yet, so we should be okay.
Okay, were you ever called out to deal with a very unusual situation? Because, you know, we have seen cases where mentioning spiders like that, kind of tarantulas and different pets have escaped. Yeah,
sometimes we will get sort of stranger out of the ordinary things where we're called in where something might have been imported in with a food product or imported in a container from abroad, and we do every now and then come across the likes of the tarantulas, the huntsman. I once had to call out and capture a scorpion, and I took down to Dublin Zoo. So these things can happen, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because we import from all over the world now, and things are shipped from all over. So sometimes these things will get in, especially with sort of raw products. Bananas are a fantastic thing to ship in large spiders and stuff in, because the way that they grow, spiders will often sit in the bunch because it gives them protection, and also it a good ambush for the other insects and stuff that are running around in those areas. And then when the bunches are cut, they're boxed, put in the thing. The spiders will be then in situ, and then when they're opened up, they turn up here. But a lot of them won't survive as soon as they come into our climate.
Okay. If you had 5 tips or even 3 tips before we say goodbye for people who are listening in the fine weather, is there anything we can do if people are having issues with, for instance, ants, with flies or with wasps?
Yeah, especially with the flies and wasps. It's all about keeping our doors and windows closed when not in use. And I know that's hard, but if you keep the doors open, pull over your curtains and stuff like that, it's a type of barrier. People often will have their dustbins quite near windows or a back door, just for ease of putting rubbish out. Don't put it as far away from the house as you can, down the bottom of the garden if you have to, because that's going to be the initial attraction, because it's food waste, it's going to be warm, and the flies will breed in that and it will attract wasps. And
they love the compost bin.
They do, and the fact is, when it's nice and lovely and warm like it is, we tend to eat outside, and it's just like that. If we are eating outside, make sure we clean as we go. Don't leave anything out, because it's just an attraction, especially to ants. If you leave stuff up, they will find it. They'll release their little pheromones, and then all their friends will start trailing back and forth to it.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Lovely to talk to you.
My pleasure.
Hopefully you won't have any rodents crawling around or anything like that today. We wish you a nice day, Richard.
Hopefully it keeps me busy.
I'm sure.
Thanks a lot.
I forget. You actually like them, of course. Thanks a million, Richard, from Rentokil there. Thank you very much for talking to us. We have to take a break. So many messages.